So Ichika actually managed to put Shia on the spot by begging to become her apprentice right in front of a bunch of live cameras. If I didn't know any better, I'd say Ichika might be a master manipulator. But then I remembered this is the same main character who has pretty much become this show's big punchline. Thanks to being the PRs of their town's local market, Ichika and crew managed to score a follow-long interview with Shia, which is kinda surprising considering they represent what amounts to a small YouTube channel. Not just anyone could score such a sweet gig with a world-renowned chef. I mean, if that were the case, I'd be inviting Elton Brown to be on this channel. I wish I was that successful. Anyway, they end up following her up the hillsides where she forages for her ingredients, which I do have to question the legality of. I actually looked it up, and there have been cases of professional chefs picking wild ingredients, but it falls under a very gray area of the law, especially if they're used commercially. Then again, this is the same anime about a bunch of minors running an unlicensed bakery that avoids property taxes by constantly moving around. Maybe it's just par for the course at this point. Well, whatever the case, Shiel does express her desire to make the best sweets possible if it means getting closer to the ultimate pass here. I'm guessing it was the person from the opening who was cut out for time's sake. Anyway, Shiel thankfully switches things up by actually meeting with someone to legally acquire ingredients, in this case a beekeeper to get some ultra fresh honey. During this time, Ichika meets with the son of the beekeeper who shows her his storybook about 3 bears who really enjoy honey as opposed to porridge. Actually, doesn't this feel more like Miyuki's thing? Hey Ichika, just because you're having a hard time getting your gimmick over doesn't mean you should be stealing from your seniors. Still, this book and those muffins I made last week remind me of one thing. How much I miss Mofaroon. Little buddy, you are easily one of the best things to come out of this franchise recently. Still, all of this talk about honey and sweets inspires Shiel and Ichika to have a pancake cook-off. While it's obvious who's going to win based on taste and plating, seriously, those things look absolutely delicious. Ichika does come up with a unique gimmick for her pancakes, though before she can show it off, Bipley comes in to steal the Kirakira and produces an MLTW that's likely Nicolas Cage's worst nightmare. And again, Shiel misses the Precure's transformation after being captured by Waspinator, but is then quickly rescued by them. She finally gets a chance to interact with the Precure, and essentially fangirls all over them, not realizing the leader of this group is a below-average baker, but let's not break the poor girl's dreams just yet. They defeat the giant bee, and Ichika is finally able to show off her pancakes. Basically, she made a short stack of bear-shaped pancakes with varying faces on them. A creative gimmick, I'll admit, and the way they produce the faces is clever, but Shiel ends up backing out my previous criticisms about the majority of recipes on the Precure's website. Yet, in spite of this, something about them produces a large amount of Kirakira that leaves both me and Shiel dumbfounded at how that happened. Well, that was an okay way of easing everyone back into the series after a week-long break, but still, a little more plot progression would have been nice. Again, Shiel's proving to be the major saving grace in this otherwise uneventful arc so far. In this episode, we got to see more of her passion towards baking through her questionable ingredient gathering methods. Again, very gray area considering she essentially used them to promote her shop, but whatever, it's nice seeing her dedication, and we even got to see a little bit more of what her actual goals are. Still, even all of the charisma in the world doesn't change the fact that nothing much happened in this episode, other than Shiel interacting with a Precure in costume, and almost blowing her cover because of her verbal tick as a fairy. You ever think they have to take special speech classes to get over that?
I'll add nya to the end of my sentences.
Meow is a gazillion times better than meow is.
But yeah, the lack of plot progression and the fact that Ichika can still produce large amounts of Kirakira without even really improving her baking skills is frustrating. Cute animal gimmicks can only take you so far before you have to start learning some practical techniques is all I'm saying. Still, it certainly looks like next week is going to have some interesting developments, so that's something to look forward to. And before I go, just a quick update on some of my other projects. Part 2 of my Hardcatch review is actually progressing pretty well, and I should have it up by later this week or so. As for my baking series, I will continue with that, just as soon as my cake pan gets here. Damn it, Amazon. Expect a video in early July. Until then, though, farewell for now, my friends, and... oh, almost out of honey. You know, maybe I should take some inspiration from Shiel in this episode and forage for my own food. After all, I come from the state that's known for its fresh produce. Maybe I should try and stick out amongst the crowd. Maybe I should seek to become a little bit more unique. Nah, screw it, I'll just go to the supermarket like everyone else does.